If you've ever wondered why did I start Selfmastered to train entrepreneurs in peak performance after being a venture capital investor for a few years, here's the answer.
I am the CEO and founder of Selfmastered, which is a high-performance training company. We help entrepreneurs and business leaders scale their businesses by teaching them 8 core high-performance skills that allow them to operate at peak potential when managing their businesses.
So what follows are 10 hard-earned truths that I have taken from my venture capital investing career and also business angel in relation on how do the best entrepreneurs actually perform in their daily lives. Because as you know, some people labor throughout decades without having much return on their investment, and others have incredibly fast results. And after a few years investing in entrepreneurs and of course making money and also wasting money, I have boiled it down to a few core principles that I'm going to share next. The first thing is that execution is strategy for breakfast. Most people believe that having the best strategy is what's going to give you the upper hand in the market, but just not true. Because winning is not about spotting gaps, it's about filling those gaps. So only those that are able to fill those gaps and really execute at elite level for long enough will eventually make a strategy actually valuable and win over the competitors, right? So the first idea is that you need to be much better at execution than you are a strategy. Someone that cannot execute will never outcompete someone that has a bad strategy. Execution is more important than strategy. Which leads me to number 2. Execution is important, but how can you execute consistently and make sure that you actually deliver on the plan? By being your best self. By understanding that unless you optimize your own self for maximum performance, at some point your execution will falter. So becoming a top performer is exactly the number 1 priority for any entrepreneur, because if you are consistently focusing on the right thing, never have emotional hiccups, are always able to think clearly and make good decisions, then you will eventually achieve what you want. So it's really about performance that leads to superior execution. Number 3, your physiology determines your reality. We like to think of ourselves as rational human beings that are always able to drive effective choices by using reason, but that's not true. Humans are emotional creatures, and we are highly dependent on cognitive processes and bodily processes that are not even in our spectrum of awareness. So mastering one's physiology, making sure that you are sleeping, breathing, eating, moving, and essentially living in an optimal manner is a surefire way of preventing problems and errors and mistakes down the line. And in fact, funnily enough, soon in my career, I realized a correlation between those entrepreneurs that were actually fit, that went to the gym or did Ironmans or marathons, that those that take care of themselves, and those that had the best business results. And since both business and fitness depends and relies on self-discipline, I think that correlation equals causation at this point. So if you happen to have bad results in your business, think about how well tuned are your physiological processes. Because if you do not sleep, eat, move, breathe, meditate as you should, then your business will not perform the way it needs to perform. 4, only the intense survive. So as cliché as it sounds, the devil is in the detail, and there's a stark difference between those that give a 10 out of 10 effort onto something and those that give an 8 out of 10. So if you really want to move very fast in entrepreneurship, and let me tell you, speed is a competitive advantage, you need to make things excellent, and excellence depends on the intensity that you put in the task. If you're willing to do something for 2 hours, but your focus is interrupted every 10 minutes, then the quality of your work will not be good. And therefore, the intensity that you bring to the table will be lackluster, and the results will be also lackluster. So if you really want to move fast, you want to be as intense as possible, because that's when you will create high quality, excellent work. As Emperor Augustus from the first Roman emperor said, festina lent, make haste slowly, which means that in order to move fast, you need to do things in a complete fashion. You need to be excellent each step of the way. So rushing, it's really about sequentializing high intensity, excellent effort. 5, mismanaged emotions are everybody's kryptonite. Listen, we are emotional creatures that we're alluding before. So if you do not learn to manage stress, to keep a good emotional balance, to really understand how to prevent high emotions from showing up in your work every day, it's going to be very hard for you to sustain your business growth. Because in the end, it's really about lowering your emotional variance and being as objective as you can at each step of the way. If you listen to Charlie Munger, he always says that people that are very high IQs but terrible investors because they cannot control their temperament. So in other words, if you do not work on your emotional management, at some point, it doesn't matter how successful you are, you may risk losing it all. So emotional IQ is just as important as raw intelligence. Now, if this is resonating for you, please remember to like and subscribe so we can keep growing and helping more people. 6, wrong targets, wrong performance. See, Aristotle already said that humans are teleological beings. It meaning that we need goals in order to function in the world. If we do not have goals, then we do not achieve anything. That seems obvious enough, right? But if you think about it, how many people set the wrong goals? How many people do not know how to set goals that propel the performance forward? I would say most of them. In fact, people are still teaching SMART goals as something that is actually desirable to get the best performance out of people. And that's just stupid. SMART goals are dumb. What you need are stretch goals, things that take you outside of your current scope of your abilities and actually help you summon intrinsic motivation, because that's exactly where peak performance lies, is slightly outside of the current level of your abilities. And throughout my career, I've noticed that low performers have SMART goals that don't really motivate them, and the best performers I know are always looking to get so far ahead that the goals they set are just engulfing them with passion, which is what we all want, right? So remember, if you set the wrong target, you're gonna get the wrong performance. Find the exact goal that motivates you, that scares you a little and excites you a lot, so that you can get ahead at peak performance. 7, wrong priorities, wrong progress. Listen, how many times have I seen entrepreneurs receiving well-intentional advice by someone who they respected, an investor, a coworker, a family member, whatever, that had led them down a path that they intimately didn't want to pursue, only to find themselves a few months down the line miserable for having wasted months doing what should not have been done at all. What I'm trying to say is that running enthusiastically in the wrong direction is a very dumb move, but every one of us from time to time can fall into that trap. Never deviate from the path that you have selected for yourself, that you know will help you grow. Self-fueled growth is exactly the #1 priority of all top performers. It's not LinkedIn fame, it's not raising round after round, it's not impressing the Jonases, it's nothing outside of self-fueled growth, both on the personal and on the professional side of things. I know this to be true because we train people in peak performance. That is one aspect of self-fueled personal and professional growth. 8, high standards cures all. Listen, the key to success is very simple and you already know this. Just be better than yesterday. If you keep upgrading your standards week on week, you will eventually get where you want to get. If you keep refining your personal protocols, if you keep understanding the feedback that the market is providing you with your business, and you keep being better than yesterday and last week, you will eventually get there. So you need to design standards and enforce those standards for yourself and your organization every single week so that it doesn't take you that long to get where you want to get. It's just as simple as that. 9, it's all about the now. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who is the psychologist that coined the term flow, but also Abraham Maslow, I'm sure you're familiar with his hierarchy of needs, already said that the key to happiness is focus. And this is important because happiness leads to success. So if you want to be happy and therefore get good chance at achieving your goals fast, you need to focus on the task at hand and really get into flow, which is that non-ordinary state of consciousness that allows you to feel your best and perform your best. In my experience investing in entrepreneurs, those that were unreachable for most of the day, meaning that you cannot get a hold of them, you cannot call them, you cannot expect them to text you back because they were focused, were those that had the best results. So if you really want to be your best, isolate yourself during the day and focus on the highest leverage things that you can. Those are the true markers of success. It's really about the now. It's really about what it is that you're doing at this very moment. And everything else is just noise, because I assume you are always working on the signal that would help your personal and professional growth. So it's all about the now. And in fact, it's never been about time management if you think about it. It's about value management. It's about being super focused on the highest leverage task available. It's about value. It's not about time. Time management is for low performers. Top performers know that managing your time is a given. The challenge is make sure that you're actually employing that time into the highest value, which is focus and leverage. That's how you make great strides in the world, by working fewer hours. And number 10, by design, not by default. I have yet to see someone who conscientiously designs his or her life, both on the professional and the personal front, and fails to achieve the goals. On the contrary, quite often I see people that they never design their lives and they live their lives by default and they end up getting nowhere near where they wanted to go. So if you really want to make things happen in your life, you need to take responsibility of it and start designing the systems and protocols and goals that will give you what you want. With our clients and my team members, I always tell them to devote time to design system, create goals, and institute protocols that allow them to get their goals by design. You were not born to be adrift in the world. You were born to make a difference, and that difference can only be made if you are conscientious about how you want to live that life. So I hope this was useful. Please let me know in the comments if you learned anything. These are 10 hard-earned truths that I learned as an investor in entrepreneurs that led me to become now an entrepreneur in the peak performance niche. So I hope you can use these 10 hard-earned truths to drive progress and growth in your life. See you in the next video.